Namaste and welcome to English class. Dear students, how are you? I hope all of you are fine. Are you ready to learn? Yes, good. You are in the English class. Now, I'm going to ask you something first. Have you ever traveled? Have you ever been out of your village or town? I think you have. You have traveled to some places in your life. You might have gone to city, or you have visited some new and interesting places. Okay, how do you feel while traveling? Obviously, I think you feel good. And if you have traveled, who did you go with? Did you go alone? Or did you go with your friends? Or did you go with your family members or your parents? Yes, we can travel with the people and we can see new places and we can meet people, we can get to know about the way of their life. Okay? I hope all of you have traveled. Okay? So some far or near. Okay, so obviously traveling is exciting. We can see new places. We can have new experiences while traveling. And the traveling is also, it's not so easy in a hilly place, right? What do you see in the picture? Yes, you can see people traveling. Okay? Is it the plain area in the Tarai region? Obviously not. You can see the mountains there, people using walking sticks and moving. That means they are walking down. So when we travel in hilly places or in Himalayan region, sometimes we have to go up by using sticks. Sometimes we have to go down, right? So in the picture, yes, your guess is correct. You can see people traveling, they are carrying bags, water bottles, with the help of walking sticks, they are traveling. You might have such kind of experiences in your life. Now, how do you feel? Do you feel excited? Or do you feel bored while traveling? I think all of you feel excited because you can get opportunity to see new places, to meet new people, to go to the new climate. Okay? So, can you guess the topic for today's lesson? Okay, your guess is right. The topic is travel excitement. T-R-A-V-E-L, travel. E-X-C-I-T-E-M-E-N-T, travel excitement. So, dear students, I think you are clear with your lesson today, right? This is, yes, Unit 2 of Grade 7. Okay, so we are going to start reading passage. You will learn how the writer traveled, all right? So, and how the writer was excited to travel. Okay, let's see. First of all, we are going to learn the new words. All right? Have you heard this word? Okay, or this phrase, fellow traveler. Okay, fellow traveler is the person who travels with you. That means together with you. The person who travels with you, right, is a fellow traveler. Yes, someone who travels with you, right? Similarly, we have some new words in this lesson. First, we learn the new words and we learn the lesson. Okay? So, the next new word you may find in your book is frozen. Frozen, yes, that is not able to move. When you are frozen, you are not able to move, right? You are immobile. right? You are unable to move, okay? So frozen means not able to move, okay? So while traveling, you may be very tired and you may be frozen. You may not be able to move when you lose your energy, especially in the evening time, right? So the next new word to you is longingly, okay? The meaning of longingly is with, okay, strong desire. When you want to do something longingly, you want to do that work with strong desire, all right? So that means with a strong desire. Okay, the next word you are going to learn is pleading, okay? Pleading, the way of convincing or getting idea from people how to convince, you can do that, right? So the pleading is asking for something emotionally, the way you use, right? When you ask people simply, you may not be able to convince them. But when you plead them, right, or you ask for something emotionally, at that time, you can get what you want. So that is, pleading means asking for something emotionally, right? And the next word you are going to learn is plot. Can you guess the meaning of this word? All right. Okay, your guess is correct, right? Plod means walk slowly with heavy steps. Dear students, you may have the experience of traveling in hillside. When you walk up the hill or you walk down the hill, at that time you get tired. When you get tired, you start plodding. Plod means walk slowly with heavy steps because you lose your energy, you get tired, you cannot walk lightly and fast. So you walk slowly with heavy steps. That is plod. Okay? And next word, new word to you is relief. Yes, you might have said, what a relief. That means a kind of freedom from some kind of problem, right? So relief. So you see, to be free from worry or pain, okay? When you are free from some kind of problem, and you may say, okay, what a relief. That means to be free from worry or pain. Slope, we have a new word. You might have heard this word, okay? Slope, it's not plain. One part higher, another part lower, especially mountainside, okay? So that is slope. A place of which one side is higher than the other, okay? That is slope. Especially, you have seen the mountain slopes, or you might have the experience of walking up and down the slopes, okay? And the next word to you is twilight. Twilight is the time after sunset in the evening, okay? So you see, it's semi-dark when there is sunset. It's not pitch dark, but there comes darkness starts. So that is twilight, time of the day after sunset. Gradually, evening time starts and darkness starts. That is twilight. Okay, in travel, okay, while traveling for a long time, your travel or your journey may not be complete in the daylight. So you may have to travel in the twilight too. Okay? And agony. Agony is a kind of pain, great pain to you, right? And you don't feel comfortable. That is your agony, right? So that is great pain. Okay? The next new word is Hamlet. Can you guess? Yes. A great dramatist, William Shakespeare, was also born in Hamlet. Hamlet is a small village, right? A small village is called Hamlet. Okay. Hurdle. Have you heard this word? Have you ever used this word? Okay. So the meaning of this word is difficulty, trouble, uneasiness, or kind of problem that you face, right? A difficulty that one needs to overcome. You have to overcome this, means you have to win this. you face some problems. Okay, the problems are your hurdles. Okay, and next word is innkeeper. Innkeeper. Okay, so the person who keeps inn is a small kind of, is a small restaurant, right? So a person who runs an inn is an innkeeper. Okay, inn is a small hotel or a restaurant. Okay, so that is inn. And negotiate, and you might have heard the word negotiation. Negotiate, that means to reach the agreement, okay, through talks, through discussion. Okay, there are two sides. Okay, negotiate means there are two sides, and they start discussing. Okay, or they try to reach the agreement through discussion or talking, and that is called negotiate. Okay, so to reach an agreement through talk. There are two sides, both of them may not be agree, right? But when they start discussing, and then finally they reach the agreement, that is negotiate. Pretend. Yes. Have you ever pretended anything in your life? Okay, certainly pretending is not good. Okay, just for acting you may pretend something, but for serious reasons you should not pretend. Can you guess the meaning this time? Okay, pretend means to act falsely, to try to give false impression. That means that's not real. Okay, pretend means to act in a way which gives a false impression. Okay, settle. That means agree something. You agree something, right? That is settle. Settle down has another meaning, right? To live comfortably somewhere. But here now, according to the context in our book, settle means to agree something. Okay? Yes, sprawling. Sprawling, you can guess. Can you guess the meaning when I use this sign? Yes, sprawling. My gesture, posture, can you guess? Sprawling means extending to the large area, to the big area. Some cities in our country, Nepal, are sprawling. That means they are getting bigger, okay, extending to bigger. Okay, that means spreading over a large area. Okay, so I hope, dear students, you got the ideas about the new words in this lesson. Can you see these words and their meanings in your book? Obviously, you can see. All right, you can see. And next is, we are going to read the passage. Okay, and after reading the passage, we will give the answers to the questions given there. The first question is, where is the author from? Do you know the meaning of author? Author is the writer who has written this lesson, unit 2 of your book. Okay, so where is the author from? You can go through the lesson. Yes, the author or the writer is from, yes, Sankhya Sabha. All right, now let's check the answer. Yes, the author is from Sankhya Sabha. And next question is, how long does it take to fly from Kathmandu to Tumlingtar? Okay, according to the writer in the lesson, he used to travel to Tumlingtar from Kathmandu by plane. Okay, so how long does it take to fly from Kathmandu to Tumlingtar? You can find the answer in the first paragraph. Okay, are you looking at the book there? Yes. Okay, there is a book in your hand, I guess, and you can easily find, yes, 45 minutes. The correct answer is 45 minutes. All right? So I hope all of you give the answer to these questions. They are signpost questions, okay? Pre-reading questions. Now, let's start the lesson. Let me read the lesson first. This is the first paragraph. I am from Sankhya Sabha. I was studying in Kathmandu, and in every darshan, I used to go home. It was a time I waited longingly for every year. That is when I would meet my family. It is a 45 minutes flight from Kathmandu to Tumlingtar. Then I had to walk for about 3 hours to reach my home in Khandbari. Khandbari is in Sankhasabha, right? So the writer here, in the first paragraph, the writer says, he is from Sankhasabha, and he was studying in Kathmandu, and he was very excited to go home, especially in the festival, right? During Dasai, the writer used to go home. And he was very interested. He used to be very interested, I mean, longingly for every year, right? Longingly means that with a strong desire, he wanted to go home for the festival, to celebrate festival. What are the reasons? Because the writer would meet the family, would be very happy to meet the family after such a long time. Okay, the writer used to study in Kathmandu, so going to house, that means going home during festival, the writer would feel very good, right? And now talks about the flight. It takes 45 minutes from Kathmandu to Sankhasabha. Okay, and not only that, the writer had to travel a lot from there, and he had to walk for about 3 hours to reach his home in Khandbari. Okay, hope you learned the first paragraph. Now let's move to the second. When I was studying in class 7, I could not get the plane tickets, sadly, right? The writer could not get the plane tickets when the writer was in class 7. I had to go by bus, means there was another alternative. Okay, the alternative was, okay, so to go by bus. And it used to be a 2-day walk to Khandbari from Hile in Dhankuta. First, the writer had to go to Hile in Dhankuta, and from Hile, and he had to go to Khandbari, that means Sankhasabha, to his home. And how long would it take? 2 days. It was a 2-day walk, means it would take 2 days. And I had never walked that way before and was afraid that I would not reach home. That means it was not easy for the writer. The writer was not comfortable, did not feel good, because it was a long journey and he had to walk on foot, right? Okay, now let's move to the third paragraph here now. First, we went to Dharan from Kathmandu. Okay, now he's going to describe how his journey starts. Okay, so his journey starts from Kathmandu. He goes to Dharan from Kathmandu first. Then, now he says, then we took another bus to Hile. That means from Dharan, the writer would take another bus to Hile. Hile is in Dhankuta, right? So I had some friends with me until I got Hile. That means until the writer reached Hile. That means a place of Dhankuta, and he would not be alone. He would be with his friends. But from there, I was alone, means the writer was alone. Okay. The first hurdle was finding the right path to take. Means hurdle means, yeah, you heard this word. Just now in the vocabulary, you learned this word. Can you guess? I think you have remembered. Hurdle means difficulty, problem. What was the first problem to the writer when he reached Hile, okay, Dhankuta, okay? The first hurdle was to find the right way. The writer was new to that place, not experienced, okay? And I had a cup of tea and some biscuits in a local shop. When he reached Hile, he had a cup of tea and some biscuits. While having a tea and biscuits, I talked to the shopkeeper, right? The writer was intelligent, clever. He wanted to get some information to his home from Hile, right? So he started talking to the shopkeeper. And how the writer talked to the shopkeeper, do you know how long it takes to reach Khandbari from here? What was the destination? Okay, to the writer, the destination was to reach Khandbari, Sankhasabha. And the writer, where was the writer? The writer was in Hile. And he asked this question, to the person who had kept the shop or who had served tea to the writer. Okay, so do you know how long it takes to reach Khandbari from here? The writer asked. Now he says, I asked. Okay, so yes, she replied. Okay, and the shopkeeper replied, yes, you are coming home for Dasai. It takes about 2 days, she replied. 2 days walk from Hile to Khandbari. It was not so easy for the writer. And who gave this idea? The shopkeeper. right? While the writer was having tea, the writer was curious to know, and the shopkeeper gave that idea, okay? And here, 2 days, right? I suppose I stay for the night at Legua tonight. There was another place. Before reaching Khandbari, there was another place, okay, in between Hile and Khandbari, so it was Legua. And the writer thought of spending night there because it was not possible to reach home in a single day, right? I asked her, trying to sound knowledgeable. That means having some kind of information that way, okay? That's right. Then tomorrow evening, you will reach home. Tomorrow evening. This morning, you will start from here. In the evening time, you may spend the night, okay, so in Legua, and tomorrow evening, you will reach home, okay, according to the shopkeeper. The writer got that idea. It would take 2 days. By the way, I'm not familiar with Hile. Okay, he started talking. Okay, this is the first time I have come here. Which path should I take from here? Means the writer was still in confusion, right? He was not sure which path to take to go to his village, Shankhasabha, right? Khandbari, right? I asked, means the writer asked, the author asked, okay? There was no use pretending to know about the place and to, okay, in the wrong direction. That means to go in a wrong direction. Okay, so the writer did not want to pretend. Do you know the meaning of pretend? To act falsely. The matter was very serious. Means anyhow, the writer had to go home. He should not have been lost, right? Nobody wants to get lost. So the pretension would not work at that time. He asked truly, right? He wanted to get information from the shopkeeper, okay? And now let's move to the next paragraph. Just go about 100 meters ahead. Okay, what is this? This is the direction given by the shopkeeper to the writer while going to Khandbari, right? You will see a cloth shop on your left. Next to it is a tea shop. Between these shops, in a narrow path leading down towards your left, take that path and go straight on. You will not get lost. I can assure you, she gave a long, clear explanation. Who gave long, clear explanation? The shopkeeper in Hile. To whom? To the writer. For what purpose? Because the writer was going to Khandbari and he was in Hile and he wanted to get clear information how to go to his village, right? So, this way, the shopkeeper helped the writer to go to his village. Okay, he had to walk for 2 days from Hile. Okay, now let's move to the next paragraph. I thanked her and started on my way. The writer was happy to get the information. Now he was sure he would not be lost there. Okay, it was downhill for as long as I could see. It was downhill. You had to walk down. You know oralo in Nepali, right? Uphill, that is ukalo, and downhill, that is oralo, right? So it was downhill most of the way, and it was not easy to walk, okay? After 1 hour, I reached Pakribas. From Hile, where did the writer reach? The writer reached Pakribas. I again had to ask for the way. Means again the writer was not sure where to go yet, because this place was new to him, okay? Then for the next 4 to 5 hours, I had to walk down till I reached Mengmaya. Okay, there is one river, small river, Mengmaya, that climbed down, took me near the Arun river. Okay, first the writer reached Mengmaya, okay, and from Mengmaya, and the writer reached Arun river. Okay, when I reached the bridge to Mengmaya river, okay, my legs were shaking like a leaf. Can you guess? My legs were shaking like a leaf means I was so tired. That is called absolutely exhausted. The writer was so tired that he could not move even a single meter ahead. The writer was really tired. It was very difficult for the writer, to move ahead. All right. So, but the good news was that from side of Arun river till I reached Tumlingtar. Okay, that. So, and he reached Tumlingtar. So it was the good news for the writer. Okay. And I reached Legua after another hour of walking. It was already twilight. By the time I reached there, means it was evening time. The hamlet of Legua used to be a collection of few dimly lit houses. You know, dimly lit houses, that means there would not be bright lights in the past, in Legua, right? But there has been changes, lots of changes. Now and then, when we compare Legua, okay, from past and present, and so there is, great change. They offer basic lodging and food. Nowadays, in Legua, you can find basic lodging and foods. Nowadays it has become a sprawling bazaar. That means, do you remember the word sprawling? Yes, that is getting bigger, expanding to the larger area. Okay, so could I get a place to sleep here tonight? I asked. The writer asks, the local person of Legua. So that is, could I get a place to sleep here tonight? Means the writer was tired. It was twilight, means it was almost evening time, and the writer wanted to spend the time in Legua. That means spend the whole night wanted to spend overnight in Legua. So, of course, but you will also have to eat dinner here, the innkeeper replied. The innkeeper, can you guess? The innkeeper was really, clever. Because not only lodging, but also fooding. Without food, only lodge he would not provide, right? Now, that is a clever business. Now the writer says, that is a clever business. I thought, but agreed to its terms, means the writer agreed that you wanted to have food and you wanted to spend the night there in the lodge. Okay, he negotiated the price. Yes, we negotiated the price and I settled in for the night, means price of lodging and fooding negotiation, right? And they came to the conclusion, that means they came to the fact and both of them agreed, right? And I settled in for the night, means the writer spent the night, okay, happily there. Next morning, I experienced the agony of walking long distance. Agony is pain, right? It was great pain the next morning because the previous day he had walked a long way, right? And again, he had to walk one whole day the next day, right? So agony of walking means pain of walking the whole day, the aching all over body, okay, legs. It seemed that both of my legs were frozen stiff, means unable to move, frozen stiff, right? It was, the meaning of this sentence is, the writer felt really difficult to walk and they refused to move. They means here the writer's legs. The writer's legs refused to move. It was painful even to take a few steps, right? He could not move ahead. One of the fellow travelers saw my difficulty and said to me, means the writer was not alone at that time, the next day. There were some other people, and one of the fellow traveler, means the person who was traveling with the writer. What did the person say? Don't worry, after some time, you will feel okay. It was a kind of sympathy to the writer. Okay, good words, right? And next is, really? I hope so. Otherwise, I will never reach home. There was both pleading and relief in my voice. Okay, pleading and relief. Okay, you learn the meaning of these words. Pleading, kind of use the words emotionally, right? Ask for something emotionally. And relief is getting freedom, okay, from something. The writer would get freedom from that pain, aches and pains, right? It turned out to be true, really. The writer did not feel aching, that means did not feel pain. After some time, I did not feel any pain, means it was okay for the writer. No body aches at all. Nonetheless, that is, however, the journey was a difficult one. That means whatever we say, whatever the fellow traveler said, the journey was not easy for the writer. Okay? It was just kind of sympathy to the writer. All day long, I walked in the hot Arun River Valley. I plodded on and on. Plodded means, you learn the word plodded, means walked with heavy steps. Because the writer was very tired, it was not easy to walk lightly, okay, and in a smart way. And walked very heavily, that is plodded. Okay, one step after the other, means with difficulty. Finally, I saw the hill of Khandbari and the slope that I had to climb. He had to climb finally, okay, before reaching home. And there were only two things that kept me going on. There were two things, okay, in the mind of writer. Okay, he kept two things in his mind. What were the two things? Do you remember? Number one was, I would be meeting my family. Means the writer was very excited to meet the family, right? And the other was that I would be celebrating Dashain and Tihar soon. The writer, would be meeting his family, right? And next is, the writer would be celebrating Dashain and Tihar soon. Okay, there are two things. Dear students, I hope you learned this lesson, and after this we are going to do some exercises. Okay, the writer left Kathmandu, okay, for Khandbari in Shankar. On the way, he passed through these places. Put the places below in order from 1 to 8. Okay, 1 being the place where he reached first, means the writer passed many places from Kathmandu to Khandbari. Okay, which place came first and which place came second and finally which place came last. Okay, 1 is given here now, okay, in your exercise book. Okay, in your exercise you can see, okay. What came first? Dharan, Kathmandu to Dharan. And can you guess other places? Yes. Okay, you can take time and guess, all right. So, yes. And what came here now? Number 1, Dharan. Number 2, Hile. And number 3, Pakribas. Number 4, yes, Mangmaya River. Number 5, Arun River. Number 6, Tumlingthar. Number 7, Legua. And number 8, Khandbari. This is how the writer passed different places before reaching Khandbari. Okay, and now let's see. First, Dharan, your answer should be like this. Second, Hile. Third, Pakribas. Fourth, Mangmaya River. Fifth, Arun River. Sixth, Tumlingthar. Seventh, Legua. And eighth, Khandbari. Finally, the writer reached Khandbari from Kathmandu. Okay, so this is in order. Now, let's look at the next exercise that you have learned. Okay, mark T for true and F for false statements. Okay, this lesson is fresh to you, right? So, now let's guess. We can fly from Kathmandu to Tumlingthar in less than an hour. Yes, it is 45 minutes. So, this is true. And next is, we can walk to Khandbari from Hile in Dhankuta in 2 days, right? From where? From Khandbari. Okay, we can walk to Khandbari from Hile. That's true. Yes. Okay. Next is, the writer stayed at Legua for night. Yes, that's what we learned. So this is also true. Okay. And next is, it took an hour for him to reach Pakribas from Dharan. Is it true? Do you think it's true? It took an hour for him to reach. Is it mentioned in the book? I don't think so. So this is false. Next is, it took 2 hours for him to reach Legua from Mangmaya River. Is it true? Is it mentioned in the book? This is false. Okay. Next is, he walked in the hot Arun River Valley on the first day. Is it on the first day? I don't think so. This is false. It was the second day. Okay. Now answer these questions. Why did the writer long for Dashain holidays? Long means desire, right? Long for means, longingly means with a strong desire. Okay. So the answer should be, the writer longed for Dashain holidays because this time he would go home and meet his family. All right. Next is, how did he usually go home from Kathmandu? How? Okay. He usually went home by bus. Dear students, I hope you had got the answer like this. Why did he go by bus this time? Why? Because he could not get the plane tickets. Okay. And next is, describe the journey from Hile to Mangmaya River. How was the journey? Yes, it was really challenging. It was not easy for the writer. Okay. First, he had to walk down the hill for an hour. Then he reached Pakribas and asked for the way to Mangmaya. Okay. Again he walked. Okay. Again he walked down the hill for 4 to 5 hours and finally reached Mangmaya river. Okay. This is how the journey went like this. Okay. So how has the Hamlet of Legua changed these days? Means in the lesson you learned that in the past there was not bright light, there were only a few houses, right? So nowadays it's sprawling bazaar, you have learned that. So your answer would be like this. The Hamlet of Legua used to be a collection of few dimly lit houses, not bright light having, not having bright light in the houses. They offered basic lodgings and food. Nowadays it has become a sprawling bazaar, right? Extending, so getting bigger, all right? And what did the writer have to do to get a place to stay in the inn at Legua? Do you remember? What did the writer have to do? The writer had to accept the proposal given by the person. Okay. And so he had to eat dinner there, not only lodging but also fooding also. That means he had to eat dinner. Okay. Okay, how did he overcome the pain in the legs the next morning? Do you remember? Okay, so by hearing some encouraging words from a fellow traveler. Okay, he overcame the pain in the legs next morning. Okay. Okay, now, so next is, what two things did he have in his mind as he approached Khandbari? Approach means came near. Okay, so when he reached near Khandbari, what two things did he have in his mind? Do you remember the two things? Okay, first thing was he would meet the family. Second, he would celebrate Dashain and Tihar festivals. All right, so meeting his family and celebrating Dashain and Tihar. Okay, dear students, please do number 4 as your homework. Okay, this is fill in the blank exercises and there are words given there. This is not difficult for you, you can do. So thank you so much for being in this class today. This much for today. Thank you.